Hey everyone, Jesse here with AutoAide, and today we're going to be talking about why doesn't a vehicle start? Well, there could be a lot of things, but most of the time it's going to come down to three components: your starter, your alternator, or your battery. So we're going to dive right in. All we'll need is a multimeter that's going to read voltage, but let's go ahead and start looking at what does a bad starter look like. When we start talking about the starter, let's talk about the fundamentals of the charging system in itself. The alternator charges the battery, and the battery gives life to the starter. What the starter does is it actually kicks over the engine. That's what starts the engine, and then it just continues to rotate. So now we've covered the very basics of how they're all connected. Let's dig into the starter. One of your most common symptoms of, hey, it might be my starter, is when we're going to stick the keys in and we're going to turn it over, and then we're either going to hear nothing at all, or we're going to hear like maybe one click. So that's a telltale sign that you may have a starter issue. Something else is we can kick it in there and we see our dash lights come on and our headlights come on. That means that typically our battery is going to be good. We're still going to test it to make sure, but that's another indication that, hey, this may or may not be my starter. All right, if you think you have a bad starter, which you may have, a good way to double check that is the tap test. Okay, this is only going to maybe work once or twice. So what you're really going to do is you're going to take like a little small metal ratchet or something like that. Stay away from the cables and the connections, but on the case of the starter itself, you're going to want to give that a tap while someone is trying to crank it over. That's going to give it enough connection to give it one more shot of turning over. So that will get you out of a tough spot if you're dead on the road somewhere. Where your starter is located is at the back of your engine and at the start of your transmission, because it is actually connected to your flywheel. So on this vehicle, it's going to be right down in here. All right, now we're going to turn our attention to the battery itself. So what we're looking for is just visual. So any corrosion, green, white kind of buildup, we want to make sure to take care of that first, because that could be causing a parasitic draw or something to that effect. And to make sure our cables are nice and tight. So those are going to be helpful tips to make sure that we're not just saying that it's a bad battery. Here we have our multimeter. It's on volts, 12 volts. And what we're going to do is put the black on the black side, negative side, red on the positive side. And the reading that we're looking for is going to be 12.6. So here I have 12.12. So this is a pretty low battery. It's probably in the about 25 percentile. Anything 11.9 or lower, that means you have a discharged battery. So I'm going to go ahead and charge this battery just to make sure that it's up to par and it's not my issue. All right, let's look at our alternator now. With the vehicle running and the vehicle is at idle, when we plug up our multimeter to the battery, it should be reading 13.5 to 14 volts. That's how we know that it's actually charging the battery. So let's go ahead and do that. So it is at 14.2, which is good. That lets us know that the alternator is working appropriately, just the way it should. All right, I hope you guys found this information useful and maybe it helped you get one step closer to diagnosing your vehicle and what's really going on. I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments if you have any other helpful tips or tricks maybe I didn't mention here in this video, or maybe you even have a question. Please just drop it down in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as quick as possible. Thank you for watching.